say Michael, Philip, Mr. Philip Michael, are you still on for next month?
Yes, sir. I'll be
Yeah,
presenting next month for sure.
I really, I'm looking forward to that as well. I really, just the introductory information is really a lot of stuff. The state is really moving in a positive direction in the reentry arena, and I think what you're doing, or you're developing and working towards is going to be amazing help, I think. So,
We
uh,
hope so, for sure. We hope.
yeah. Um, is there anyone here this is your first time, other than Kirsten, that this is your first time with us with this particular reentry council? If you could maybe just briefly introduce yourself and the organization that you represent. All right. Jen Carl, this is not your first time because you don't look familiar. Maybe I just didn't, sometimes we just have a number on and I just can't see everyone.
No, I'm usually always on this meeting.
Okay. All right then. Well, I do want to give some good news. We were able to help a person, and this kind of represents some of the cracks in the judicial system, but there was a person who um, had signed a plea agreement, and that they had violated parole, and they went to court, and then they said that that person would be able to go into rehab, and then possibly either get probation or not even have to receive probation. He violated his parole, and he admits that. But the way things, he signed the plea agreement, and then he ends up, going to jail while they're trying to get him in a treatment center, and he's ended up in there for 3 months. He's still there, but he ended up calling. I don't know who he called someone who knew me, and he called me, and we have been communicating through telephone and the Get Out app, and we just called a couple of different places. There was a place up in close to Morgantown. They said no, but we were able to get him into a place, and they confirmed it, and he will be going in on the 29th. He might be able to get in there sooner than that, but right now that's what he's scheduled for. So he's on cloud nine. He was in a regional jail, and then they transferred him into a prison. Um, because of nobody knows why they transferred him. But in any case, the attorney in the case really did not do due diligence to really work to get him into a rehab place. And so it kind of reminds us that our judicial system does have cracks. It does have individuals who slip through those cracks, and are, so unfortunate. But we're getting more and more resources out there that can address these types of issues. So I'm glad that he's going to be getting into that plan, and hopefully he won't get probation, or he'll be able to, be released completely. We'll see how it goes. But just to get him in a treatment center and get him out of prison is a big thing for him. So, but we have people know who we are, and they contact Krista or Bev. They contact us, and I get a lot of calls, and I would encourage anyone, if you haven't heard of it, and Krista can speak to it too, but there's an app, Getting Out, and go visit, and these are ways in which you can communicate with those. And I have probably 9 individuals who I communicate with, some that I've never met, and some that have, contacted me through this reentry council. And we're able to, at the very least, just encourage them and see what we can do when they do get out. We have some that, did not, they had a parole hearing, and we thought that they would be released, and we were going to be prepared to help them. But as it turned out, they were not released. They were denied parole, and So those things happen, but it's just being able to communicate with them, give them encouragement while they are incarcerated, and give them some hope for when they do get out, that there is something or someone out there that can be of assistance to them. So it's been working pretty good, and I've been the chair of this council here. This is the first council, reentry council for going over 8 years now. And we have now 20. And if anyone's interested, between Krista, I know Krista has the app, and she communicates with individuals. I do as well, and it's a very unique situation that the technology allows us to have. So
It's a good app. Of course, they have to have money on their books to be able to access it. It's called GTL, Getting Out. They can do text messages back and forth, or video calls or phone calls. But like I said, they do have to have money on their commissary to be able to access it. It gives connection to the outside world. We can, talk with them, text with them, express their concerns, what it is they need. So it's been
right.
not being to be able to physically go inside. This is probably the next best thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And I have,
and we have to have money on our books too in order to access it. So it is a paid app for both parties.
Yeah. I have money on my book, which allows me to do the text message. It's not they only charge like 15 cents. And I do have an individual in California, and they only charge 5 cents a text. So I can, but if anyone has individuals who are incarcerated, that may be family or friends, if you want to be able to communicate with them, just let us know. We'll show you how to, but you have to have money on your books to be able to communicate back and forth. But sometimes they may not have money on their books. And I have sent money. There was an app that the app does have the ability to allow you to deposit money on their particular account. So I've done that a few times. $25 will go a long way for them. But anyway, if there's no individuals that first time, I'm going to give the floor now over to Kirsten. I don't know, Kirsten, if you had if you were planning to use any on-screen presentation, Krista could, or I could, let you have access to that. But yeah, you're muted right now. I'm sorry. That's all right.
Okay.
All
My
right.
bad. You can usually just Google my name and find all my information. I'm pretty vocal about what I do. I kind of created this, what I do. I don't do this for my livelihood. I do this because I grew up having the ability to get whatever I needed, job-wise, getting out of trouble, whatever. And these people the communities that I deal with are LGBTQ, suicide, self-harm, domestic violence, and recovery. And recovery goes for drugs and coming out of jail and trying to get out into the real world. And I got in touch with Jobs and Hope. So I'm also a provider for them. I do tattoo removal on arms, neck, and face. They've also, over this last year, they've allowed me to better their program, and I now can do, I can fix scarring from track marks, hit spots, and blown out veins, as well as color correcting them so the blowout of the veins aren't as visible, and then I do tattoo removal. And Jobs and Hope gives each participant in their program up to $2,000 to spend with me. And that covers a lot of bad tattoos from just being in jail, tattoos that they're embarrassed of, tattoos that somebody's gonna look at that are gonna either associate them with something or just shun them away from their business. I've just been kind of touching base with all the associations that do somewhat similar things and let them know that I'm available and that I do this. I don't want to say like I have the kindness of my heart, but I do this for that purpose as well. If somebody's been sober a year, I remove their tattoos, fix their track marks and hit spots and all that for free. Domestic violence situations I do for free. Kids self-harm scars and any scarring that they can be made fun of, I do for free. And then whatever Jobs and Hope covers on any of their participants. If their money runs out, if they run out their $2,000 before everything is done on them, I pick up the tab afterwards. And so it's just my time. It's really not that much of an expense necessarily, so I don't mind to do it. Plus I see what it's like. I grew up in South Hills in Charleston, so I know what it's like to be looked at different just because of what you might have done 5-10 years ago, and it's not exactly who the person that you really are. And so I don't see, what I did was doing this to give somebody their confidence back to be able to get that better job or to be able to get that higher position or to be able to feel confident to walk into a room of people without getting that stereotype. So I erase triggers basically. If there's anything that any of your people have, I'm very good at soot tattoos as well. I've had experience with multiple. They make soot tattoos out of soot from a burnt like checker. They collect it and then they mix it with like lotion or pomade or shampoo, and that's what they use as ink. And so I'm able to pull those tattoos as well. And I numb for all of my services, so there's nothing, there's really no pain. I've worked with the Federal Halfway House in St. Albans, getting their participants here. They have to call me, make sure they're here. Then I call whenever they're about to leave, and then they check in periodically. I don't mind doing that. I don't vet anybody that hasn't bit me in the butt yet. I don't want any people that come into my shop I don't want to have a bias on them at all. I just want to meet them who they are that day. And that has done nothing but make it get better. I've had more trouble from little old ladies than I do from any of the people that have been in jail or been on drugs. And it's just a place for the black sheep to go and not have to worry about anybody else or anybody saying anything, and still being able to get exactly the same services, if not better, because nobody around here does what I do. I also do like nipple and areola reconstruction for cancer patients. I can camouflage birthmarks, scalp stuff for balding or for like a scar in your hairline. I can fix that to make it look like it's not even there. All the way to tattooing a toenail on somebody's nail bed that had their toenail removed years ago. And I tattooed one to make it look like they had a big toe. And I've done it to a guy's finger as well. He had a nub taken off, like one of the knuckles. And so I put a nail right here so that it didn't catch, or if anybody looked, it wasn't catching any eyes. It was, you saw the nails. So anything that's a trigger, and it can be big or small, it doesn't matter. But I like to get all my information out because I do a lot. I don't have any, I don't go through any programs or grants or anything like that. All the Woody Tooties that get permanent makeup done by me is who pays for who comps me basically for all the free things that I do. So if they knew that, they probably wouldn't come to me, because majority of them probably aren't on the same page as I am. But that's just what I do, and I'm able to do it. I have 2 little kids and they're in school now, and so I've got all the time in the world, and I'm also the one that fixes all the botched eyebrows and things like that. I do tattoo removal on an emergency basis as well. Within 48 hours of them being done, I can remove a tattoo before you have to wait and let it heal. So there's just a bunch of different things, but I am a provider for Jobs and Hope, which you guys use. So that's a thing. I like to kind of speak at like the recovery houses or at the halfway houses and things and let them see that I'm not a regular West Virginia resource, that I'm laid back and it's not going to be a stuffy situation where you're uncomfortable or anything like that. So I just wanted to introduce myself and let everybody know. I've talked to Krisha quite a few times. But all I do is I just reach out to organizations and see if they have anything that can work with mine, or if I have anything that can help with theirs, and it just keeps getting better and better. So you guys were next on my list. I didn't even know that this was a thing. I say recovery, but there's so many outlets to recovery, and I'm just finding all that out. So you guys are one of the people that I heard about to get in touch with. So I just wanted to do that.
How did you, I mean, who was it that gave you our contact information?
I was looking, well, I looked online. Somebody said the Reentry Council. I think it was one of the halfway house guys in St. Albans. And I was like, what is Reentry Council? And he told me, and I was like, oh, that makes sense, you know? And so I looked it up, and Krisha, I think, did I call you or email you or
I don't
something
even know.
first? And
I feel like you're waiting for a
immediately,
while.
yeah, and immediately we touched base and discussed everything. And she was like, oh, this is great. You need to speak here. This is what we do. And I just think it's a neat thing. There's not a lot of people that work for the underdog or that help the underdogs, and I'm all about it. I'm open to anything. If anybody has any ideas or any other organizations or anything that can benefit from my stuff. Usually if somebody has any gnarly scars or things like that, I'll do those for just a tip. And like a tip to me for any of the free services is like artwork or something for my shop, or even a flower on the side of the road, just some sort of acknowledgement that I spent my time fixing you. But other than that, I've met some great people that that might not look the nicest, but are nicer than your little old lady neighbor on the corner. So I just feel like I can help make them feel better about themselves. I know it's scary getting back out there, and any obstacle that I can take away, it's easy. So I don't mind.
Your passion for reentry, but then also you and I had talked about, self-harm scars, and so many children now with self-harm scars. And
Yeah, I get a lot of kids.
yeah,
And then I get a lot of nurses also that deal with that. And everybody knows what a self-harm scar looks like from a drug use scar, but there's people or parents that don't allow certain nurses to work on their kids because they're scared they might give what they have. And it's like, you can't give somebody depression, you can't, there's just things that I'm sure the nurses are past that point in their life, but every time they see these things, it's a trigger, and that sets you back. And if you're trying to go forward, anything that triggers you, depending on your mental state, can set you back and make you start from scratch. And a lot of that time, it's not fair. It feels like these people don't catch a break. And that's just what I do. If anything, I can go as far as I've done kids that worked on a 7-year-old. The scar stuff is not ink. I do use my tattoo machine, but I use serums in it. And basically I kind of rough up the area with my machine, and it causes all the elastin and collagen to rush to the area and reheal itself. And that's what causes the scar to be revised and be smaller. So it will change the color, texture, depth, width, anything. If you can feel it under your fingers, it will be skin level. And usually you'll notice a drastic change within a week and a half after your session. I did a little girl's dog bite that I drive to Oak Hill for. She got bit by a pit bull. And in the beginning, I can post some of these pictures, but in the beginning, her whole cheek was like a big pink kind of circle. You could tell something happened, but you didn't really know exactly what happened. But a plastic surgeon did do it. And I'm looking at this little 7-year-old and I'm like, there's no way. She's 7. I've got to fix that. So I offered to come up there. I do it for free. I drive to Oak Hill. And I've done it in 2 sessions. All the scar tissue was gone. And now you can see just the imprints of the teeth that punctured. You can see the exact imprint of each tooth. So she probably only needs max 2 more sessions to do it. I numb throughout everything. The downtime is, other than what it looks like, it's not bad. If a 7-year-old can do it, anybody can do it. And goes just the same for like blown out veins. Those are very noticeable on people's arms. It's bright blue. I have a couple of people that I've color corrected it and then camouflage it to their skin tone so that it blends in versus being eye-catching. There's what else?
Listen, let me ask you on that. The process that you do, does it eventually wear off and then you have to redo it periodically?
No, the scar stuff's no. Anything that has to do with the scar, once it's healed again, it's healed. Unless you injure that area, it works for stretch marks as well. So if I fix, say, a stretch mark and then somebody gained or lost weight, that stretch mark could come back, but that's not because of my stuff not happening. It's just because of aftercare. So all the tattooing with ink, that stuff lasts about 1 to 3 years. And then usually it's just a yearly color boost by preference of the person. And anything with like the scar stuff, once it's done, it's done. And I can get it. Some people like to share their story and still have part of their story. So I can change their marks on them to be less noticeable to everybody else, but still be there enough to say I came this far, and there's just all different ways to do things. And where I own my own business, I'm insured, I'm a paralegal, and I do what I want when I want. And if there's something new that somebody needs or some issue that somebody has, I'll figure it out and write you up a note that says I have no idea what this is going to turn out like. But they want me to do it. They know the results, and I've done that before. That's how I figured out how to fix track marks. I didn't even think that was able to be done, but it's pretty crazy that nobody has done anything like this around here. It's not really crazy because West Virginia is so behind the times, but it's crazy that nobody does anything to help people, because it's like an unlimited supply of people everybody has something that bothers them. And it's like, you just have to care enough and be able to be talked to. Like, people that's why I go to the rehab houses and stuff. I have to show them that, like, I'm cool. I'm not going to be judgy or anything like that. And I think it's come a long way. I've really curbed my language in this appointment or this meeting. I don't know how, but usually I am a horrible potty mouth, and I speak at all. I go to the Rotary Club, I go to BNI meetings, and I talk. Usually my head's all shaved. I have a huge braid in, and I have purple hair. And so when I come in, my last name's Santa Maria. I tattoo, my first things when I said those was like tattoo nipple and areolas. And my last name's Santa Maria. They're going to remember me. I don't need a seat in their group, but they're going to remember me because I do such unique things. And so I went around and spoke at a bunch of those meetings, and everything just keeps getting better. And I'm doing it. I'm winging it, honestly, winging it. I have whatever feels right, I do. And it has not hurt me yet. Anything that I do pro bono has came back tenfold. I never question, even like people say business owners go through ups and downs and stuff like that. And yeah, they do. And it's hard, but if you do it for what I do for the right reasons, it doesn't really matter the money you make, because you're making a difference in so many other areas and helping people. It's just, I don't know, it's just what I like to do. And it's not my livelihood, so I can pick and choose who I want to work with. My bills are paid by my child support, so my business is totally separate and I don't need the money. So I've had people that I won't do anything on anybody that I have corrected before on somebody else. So if I know a service that they want is not going to heal right or age well, then I won't do it. And people get mad, but I tell them who will do it. And then I tell them how much it's going to cost when you come back to me and I have to fix it and then redo. And people run out of my shop all pissy, but then they end up coming back tucking their tail, because I'm not mean. I'm just I know what I know, and I'm very blunt and blurt things out. And some people don't like it, but the clientele that I keep is all about it. And that's all that matters really to me, is that I create a bond with some of the best people that I know. And any of my Jobs and Hope clients, I know that if I was stranded on the side of the road, that I could call them and they would be there in seconds.
Mhm.
I don't know. I could say that maybe about two of my other friends, but other than that, no. If I got hurt, I know who I would call. If I got, like, they are just great people that get such a bad rep. And just like with people in recovery, when you're on drugs, you do horrible things that's not you. Takes a while to get back to yourself after you recover, but the drugs is usually what causes the problems
Right.
and
Now, do you-
gets them into trouble. But
Yeah.
like you were saying, you were looking for a bed for somebody, for a rehab for that person. I also have a lot of pull with a lot of the recovery centers as well.
Yeah.
I remove a lot of tattoos from people that have been, if anybody's been sober a year, I remove your tattoos and things like that for free. So I get a lot of the workers from the recovery houses and the facilities and things like that. So I've came to know a lot of the bigger wigs, and that's just me basically busting into places and just saying, hey, here's what I can do. This is what I do. This is what I can do for you. Let me talk to your people. And
Yeah, I was
so,
gonna ask you about that, Kirsten, because I heard you say it once before, along with some of the other things you do. But removing tattoos is a significant thing for people, particularly when they are trying to get employment, and some may have tattoos that the company may feel reluctant in hiring you because of that, or because
yeah,
it's going to be constantly visible. So you are able to
it doesn't happen
just
overnight.
remove. Okay.
It's a couple session thing. But what I have done before is I get people that are trying to be troopers or going into the academy as well. So those people can't have tattoos on their hands or their neck.
Right.
So as long as, like, I've written letters and shown past dates and scheduled future dates and said, this is what we're doing, this is how we're doing it, and that's worked. Like, I have no problem talking to whoever or writing some sort of thing up talking about their game plan and how it will be done by then or whatever. But usually tattoos take at least 4 sessions to remove. It just depends on what it is. I had a guy with like upside down crosses beside both of his eyes. That took 1 session to remove. And then the second time he came in, I just poked 2 little places on each side and they're gone now. Like, it works. It's not really harmful. It's saline tattoo removal. So it works on works on all tattoos. Laser that is offered is not really a one and done. It burns layers of skin off, and that's why your tattoo fades, is because you're losing that next layer of skin. It's not lasers are made for old lady marks and for wrinkles. They're not made for removing tattoos, but they get away with it here because there's not a lot of regulations to do that, and you can buy a laser on Amazon.
Mm,
But I end up, there's one guy here in the state that has a tattoo laser, but even then I end up having to finish his removals because tattoo lasers don't see the colors red, orange, yellow, or white. So they can tell you that you just have a few more sessions, that we're getting down to it. We just got a couple more sessions, and they'll continue to couple more session you know, but I like, there's no way that they could get it out. And all it does is just continue to cause more scarring. So
Wow.
not only do I finish pulling his tattoos, I also have to fix the scarring that he caused on, usually it's eyebrows, somebody's face or something. But yeah, as far as anybody that is trying to get a job, I wouldn't even care to give somebody a little card to keep in their wallet that says this person is getting treatment for this over the next whatever months, so that he can at least, or they can at least show, hey, I am in the process of doing this. It is going to be fixed. I am aware that it's not something that should be displayed
Right.
publicly. You know, there's a lot of different things that mean crazy stuff, things that little symbols that you don't even think of,
Right.
but they are a big deal. And a lot of the time the people have grown since they got those tattoos, and they're just trying to do better.
Right.
And
Yeah. Well, I know when when Krista emailed me about it, you know, I know people and a couple of people in Jobs and Hope, and so I called them and they confirmed it over the phone. So that they use you.
yeah, I
And
know.
I want those who are on the call to know that they do. They are, the cursing services are being used, and I was curious about, you know, I was caught off guard by the $2,000 thing. I mean, how exactly does that work? Do they put it on their account, but it's being held by?
No, well, one, I had when you called Jobs and Hope, that caused a little riff between me and Jobs and Hope, because they thought I was promoting them using their name on all my stuff, when I had to go over the transition agent's head and talk to the lead and tell her that it was my bio that you got, that you were referring to, and all you were asking was a reference on, do I really do what I say I do? And it was a big, oh, it was a big deal. But
I
it's okay,
apologize.
I fixed it. But yeah, what'd you ask? I'm sorry.
I just, you know, the $2,000 that is that a tab that they keep and?
No, they actually,
do?
I submitted an invoice that looks like kind of like a little form that gives you sessions and then the totals, and I turn it in every time I have a client. Every time I do a session with a client, I can email it to their transition agent, and then the Catholic Charities of West Virginia and Sober Living are the ones that cut me checks for those people. So it's Jobs and Hope money, but those charities are the two that control the part for the tattoo removal. I
Okay.
don't know how they came up with the number. It's nice for people that are fully covered. There's some guys that I've seen that have full face tattoo, like entire face. And
Mhm.
it's a great incentive to get somebody
Are
sober.
you able to serve somebody that, because I've seen some that have it all the way up to their neck, and
Yeah,
and
I could do eyelids,
so
lips, everything.
you're able to get all of that all the way up to the neck and even on the face?
Eyelids. Yeah.
Mhm.
I remove eyeliner tattoo from ladies. I've removed money sign tattoos on Federal Halfway House guys. They
Okay.
had money signs on their eyelids.
Oh, wow.
I numb, so it doesn't hurt. It seems crazy, but really the pressure that it takes and stuff, it's not as intense as what you think it is. Anything that I do doesn't go as deep as a tattoo, except for the removal on some areas. I have to go a little bit deeper than the tattoo, but most of my stuff is all only like first and second layer of skin. So it's not as intense as getting a tattoo, but I do numb, and I numb really well because I test it all out on myself before I put it on somebody's face.
Okay.
Um,
I drove by, I went on D Street in South Charleston. I
Couldn't
had a
find
hard
me, huh?
time. I had a hard time finding, because it just so happens that when I looked at the email from Krista, I happened to actually be right there by Gorby's, the music place there. And so
Yeah,
I drove around the corner and I had a hard
it's
time locating it.
it's directly across the street from the post office in South Charleston, and it's
Okay,
in the big TJC brick building right next to City Hall.
I know where
Um,
that's at.
there's
Yeah.
like a foot doctor and a spine and joint person that's downstairs, and then I'm upstairs. And I have a huge shop. It's a big 4-room suite. You walk in and there's a waiting room, and then I have 2 procedure rooms, and then my office that
Wow.
I'm in right now. So
Wow.
there's room for moral support to come with their people or whatever. I don't mind. It's only, like I said, it's only me up here, so they don't have to worry about anything.
Okay. Yeah, I drove all the way up and I drove past the post office, and then there's a theater there.
Yeah, I'm before
And
that.
I wasn't sure what side to look at, but
Right side of the street going towards or coming from the mound. I'm on the right side.
if I'm coming from the mound, it's going to be
Right.
on the right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was actually looking left. That's probably but
Yeah.
I was trying to look on both sides,
But
but
there's a lot of shops there, and that's where I lucked out getting a
okay.
location, such a prime location for such a good price. I've got awesome landlords. It's actually
Okay.
a construction company that's on the building is the landlord, and they have an office at the beginning of my hallway. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I got a
Question. Do you have have you developed a website yet?
I use I've
I
not-
put
not
all the
really.
stuff in the chat over there. Kristen, if you can see it, make sure that it's
Yeah.
correct. Put your phone number, your DOT card, your Google, and then your email. I copied and pasted.
Oh yeah,
them.
that works. Yeah, the dot card and the Google will take you to just my Google page, and you can read my reviews on Google are paragraphs long. There's all different types of situations that I've helped people with, and all the way down to bring a copy or go print out some divorce papers and come back here and give me about an hour and a half of your time, and I'll help you fill them out, and then you go file before your husband comes back from work, type deal. Like I'm an all around girl, do right, do good, don't screw people type of person. And just if I can help, I'll help. But
Okay.
yeah, that's all in there. The dot card is basically a electronic business card, so it will take you to all my different social medias. You can click on all the payment apps that I use and things like that is on there. But a regular website, no. I use Facebook because I get most of my people get a hold of me off of Google and Facebook. Those are where I get seen the most, and where I fund everything myself. It's easier for me not to pay for a website when I can just use social media to do it all.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a pretty good following, so I get
Well, I want to check that out because
the word out.
yeah, I think that's always encouraging. I think, people need to know this is a legitimate business. It's a legitimate service. It's a rare, obviously, as you hear, it's a
Yeah.
rare service. And so people do, they
It
want
sounds
to,
too good to be true on a lot of things. And once they meet me and see me in person or talk to me on the phone, they're like, oh, okay, she's just like really do, but it's real. I mean, it really does. A box of tattoo needles is maybe $25 for 20 of them. The bottle of serum that I use literally 3 drops out of each bottle. So it's not the basic Q-tips and the cotton balls and stuff like that is it. I mean, it's my time. And most of the time it takes about 45 minutes to numb. And then it takes about 5 to 30 minutes to do the session, and then we're done. It just depends on how big it is or what we're working on. But yeah, I've done removal on a full sleeve. I've done removal on the tiniest little freckle.
Yeah.
just anything. But yeah, I'm real. I do this. I
good.
like doing it. I am on call 24/7, just about. I am the one that fixes, like I said, all the botched brows. So I get the phone calls at 9 o'clock at night where I drag my kids out of bed and make them come to the shop so I can fix a lady's face before, if I can get to a window before the 48 hours is up, then we're good. But with permanent makeup, if I miss that 48-hour mark, they have to wait 6 to 8 weeks for it to heal. And then I take a tattoo machine to it and grind the tattoo out. I do numb, but it's a lot more intense than what it would be if I was just able to like kind of pick it out.
Wow.
So
Philip, did you get Kristen's contact information?
Yes, I did. Very interesting what you do, and you should be applauded for your work.
what's
Um,
proud?
Proud is a grant through the federal government that I'm starting to work with now. I was hired by West Virginia Workforce.
Uh-huh.
And what we do is we go and to the RRCs, the federal ones, one in Clarksburg and here in St. Albans, to find people that are incarcerated jobs.
Uh-huh.
And we have worked with our partners here to enable them to get a good paying job, not just like a fast food place or something like that. We're hoping to get them jobs with insurance, et cetera. So
Well, speaking of that, I do my landlord, he's TJC Home Improvement. He actually hires felons.
okay, that's good.
They
to know.
are I think he's a ex state sheriff or deputy sheriff, and the other one is a current deputy sheriff / real estate agent. But they run this, and
What's his
they
name
supply.
again?
It's TJC
Is that's
Construction.
what is he, TJ, or what's his name?
His name is Terry. It's Terry and Jason. I don't know what the C's for, but
That's
it's
fine.
Terry Mayhew
Megan. Okay.
and Jason Snyder. And what they do, they've got businesses like this don't come around anymore. But
No, they don't.
after 30
unfortunately.
days, they give you a company truck. After 30 days, you get a company gas card. After 30 days, you get full insurance and everything, including vacation that starts right away versus having a grace period. I think they also pay into 401k. I'm not 100% sure on that, but they also provide brand new tools usually, unless somebody's in a transition where somebody's leaving and they're replacing them, they'll get their tools, but usually it's a truck, gas card, and brand new tools.
I assume they're on Google, or you have
Yeah.
contact information.
Yeah,
I'll
they're
just
on Google
Google
too. And they know that I deal with certain types of people, and I've sent a couple people their way.
That's a
very
great deal
very
right there.
good company, good people, family oriented. They are police, but they're not you wouldn't know if they weren't dressed, honestly. Like, well, the realtor one kind of looks like it, but really, no, you can't really tell. And they're very nice people. It doesn't.
That's why I asked Philip if he had your contact information, because I can see, proud. And I did do some research on it, and I'm seeing that the federal government is, really pushing this, and I'm glad to see it's coming to West Virginia. But I thought, I would see opportunities where you might need the services of Kirsten.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's what I'm
Or
very
he
interested.
can
It's
steer
very
me in the.
interested in talking to her, and maybe we can share information. That one of the
Yeah.
things that I could tell TJCs about is that the program through West Virginia also enables companies that hire felons to get tax incentives for their company. So I will reach out to TJCs and explain that to them, because if they're not taking advantage of that, that's a wonderful opportunity for them to get money back on their taxes at the end of the year for hiring felons. And that's
Yeah.
not something that just happens, one time. It's up to $10,000. So it's a very good incentive for small businesses
Yeah.
There's some corporations like Toyota and Exxon that know about it, but I would say probably less than 1% of our small businesses know about hiring a felon and being able to be eligible for these tax incentives. And, that's good information. Thank you very much.
No problem.
You doing?
Dr. Boss, if you're there, if you had any questions, or anyone else,
Kirsten, you have a lot of compliments over in the chat, so
Yeah, I'm just now looking at
yeah,
this.
take a look at those that you.
Does it erase whenever this goes off?
I'll
You can
download
save
it and
it.
I'll email it to you.
Okay.
if you want also, Kristen, if you go up to the very top of the chat and there's 3 dots, you'll see 3 dots.
Yeah.
If you press on that,
Oh,
it
I
will say
see. I
save,
see that.
save chat.
Okay, where are you from? Because you've got that northern, you sound like my whole family. My family's from Massachusetts. We're the only ones that came to West Virginia, and I keep getting flashes of my uncles talking, and it's just totally messing with me. So where are you from?
From Boston.
Shut up. Shut up.
Now you're gonna get him and Mark doing this whole baseball thing now.
Yeah.
Is Mark on?
No.
Is Mark on with us?
I try to be
I've
quiet,
got my
because
family from
I
all
try to be
over.
quiet because the Yankees, but
There we go.
I'm
I
leaving
hear
him alone.
the
He's having a
voice.
rough year so far.
Yeah,
it was
I get, oh, my accent is so messed up. I'd say, oh gosh,
I can hear your accent, but I'm trying to figure out where
it's a little redneck and a little ghetto. It's not, I don't know. It's a little different. I still say both with an L instead of both, or however you're supposed to say it. I say
You say-
bedroom
you say
instead of
roof. You say
room.
roof. You say roof instead of roof.
Yeah, roof.
Mm,
It's
Yeah.
just little things, and people are like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "You guys really have room to talk about how other people talk." But then you'll hear me be like y'all and everything else. So it's
Mhm.
just I've got a little bit of whatever mixed.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad I still have my accent. Sometimes it takes a little while. I moved out of Massachusetts in 1983. I have not lived in Massachusetts since then. So, but
Yeah,
I
that's a
still
long
get
time.
people who say, "Where are you from?" I can sense your accent. So,
Yeah.
I still have it. But and Mark, I was paying so much attention to Kirsten's presentation. I didn't see you actually were on, but I'll leave you alone because you all look good.
We'll find out tonight. It's
Yeah.
tied up 1-1.
Right. So, but it's good to have everyone on, and I want to just check and see if anyone has any other questions. Dr. Boss, if you're there, if you wanted to ask anything, because I'd be interested in, because I know Dr. Boss this is her first time back in a few months, and she's located in a different location now, so she's now going to be able to attend more regularly. But
And so excited about being able to get back into this. I have missed it more than you know. I literally feel like I fell off the edge of the planet when I ended up moving jobs, and it was like, oh, I got to get back into this.
right, yeah. Well, I was glad when you contacted me, and we got you back, into the mailing list. And I hope you're enjoying this new location, this new position you have.
Actually, yeah, we don't even want to go there. Let's just say you're about to get a resume for me for the new navigator thing that you're trying to fill. So this is way more my calling than what I'm doing now, which is just giving people more drugs. But I'm not a huge fan. It could be a great service if it was done right, but methadone treatment for addiction is not my strong suit of belief systems, that's for sure.
Yeah. All right.
Well, I dropped several things over in the chat, if that's all right to so the first of the West Virginia Restorative Justice Week is November 20th. They will have circles in person all across the state. So you can register to find out where the location is in your area and join a restorative justice circle to talk about healing and acceptance and mediation. So that's going on. I will be doing a trauma-informed care training in Charleston on, I gotta get my dates, I keep getting them confused. I will be in Charleston on November 13th to do this, how trauma-informed care improves the criminal justice system. Tina was on here, but I saw that she was in an appointment. Oh, no, she's still here. She and I will be doing that training together at the Goodwill Center. So there's a
Yeah, I
link
heard about
there.
that.
Yeah, it's a free training, and it's really good for law enforcement or public defenders, anybody, you know, halfway houses or transitional housing, anybody that works with anybody that may have some kind of connection to the criminal justice system, you know, either side of it. So again, it's free. And then we are hiring through our Appalachian Regional Commission Inspire grant. We are hiring some navigators, so they will be the Reach Back Reentry navigators that have lived experience. That is the biggest qualification for that, is you have to have lived experience, and you'll walk with somebody for a year to help them navigate the barriers of coming back home and getting your identification, housing, employment, education, all of those things that you need to be. So
Wow.
we're hiring a couple positions for that.
Yeah. Let me, Mark, let me ask you, how did things go last month at the King Center? I was not able to get there, but how did things go?
We had a really good turnout. We had over 60 vendors.
Oh, wow.
We actually had to get out more tables for them to sit, and we had a really high turnout for veterans. They came in. I want to believe it was close to 75 or 80 veterans that came through there, which was a whole lot more than last year. So it was a really good turnout.
Yeah. I can't remember what it was. I was hoping to be able to swing by there and check it out, but I'm sorry I wasn't able to make it. It sounds like it was a really nice event. So
Yeah, we had a really good turnout. Served food for everybody. They got there. Everybody got a free meal. It was catered. It was a really good turnout.
wow. That's good. That's good. Good to hear. That's really encouraging. I'm sure that there's a lot of people felt really blessed to have it, been able to get there.
Yes. We actually a little coordinated a little better this year. We actually had a van that actually wanted to go get veterans that actually wanted to come. So we were doing round pickups
Okay.
for them.
All right. Sounds good. Well, I'm going to try to get the word out for Philip's presentation next month, because I really think we need to hear what's going on. This is relatively new, and last month when Philip introduced himself, I went online after the meeting and didn't realize what was going on in this area with this particular Proud. I just Googled it and started reading the history of it. So it's fairly recent. It's federal monies that are coming in specifically for reentry. And looking forward to it. I'm going to try to encourage, because there's just a lot of people that were not on here today that I was hoping they would be there. So I'm going to just contact people and let them, remind them. And, because I think this is really some resources that we need to be aware of. So, all right. If there's no other questions for Kirsten, just want to let you know, Kirsten, we appreciate what you do, especially you're doing a lot of this pro bono, which, I just hope that, you're able to be sustained, as much as you do, as important as what you're doing is. I'm glad Good Jobs and Hope are utilizing you. It's probably one of the better agencies that I've seen created, and I think I'll probably find out Proud is also another one that's really been helpful. But Jobs and Hope has really done a marvelous work in the last, it's been, I guess, going on 4 years or maybe somewhere in that area. But so thank you so much. and we wish you well and, you know, continuing to be able to help people.
Thank you.
All right. So again, I think I do want to just remind everyone that we really want to try to make a push for getting the Second Chance Act get some attention this coming legislative session. And I have contacted Delegate Young, who has been the sponsor, and I'm hoping that she can give us some ideas or some thoughts, or because I hope that she's going to reintroduce it, and I think she will. She's done it the last 3 or 4 years, but it just never goes anywhere. So, you know, we want to just see what we can do to really get to the Judicial Committee chairs and let them know, and, you know, how important this legislation is. So we'll be kind of concentrating on that in December and January. And if anyone has any thoughts or ideas on how, you know, we can assist in that, you know, just let me know. Yeah, I put my email address in the chat, and you can contact Krista as well. Okay. If there's nothing else, I think we are good to go for a lunch. And thank you so much, Kristen. Everyone just have a great day, and we'll see you, Philip, next month.
Thank you.
Thank you. Look
Kristen.
forward to talking next month.
All right. We'll see you, Dr. Bost.
Bye.
Bye.